Karnataka is India's ultimate startup destination with over 14,000 registered startups and 45 unicorns. Bangalore, proudly known as the nation's startup capital, ranks third globally in the number of startups, cementing its place as a powerhouse of innovation. The city also has 144 incubators and accelerators and 1500 plus VC funds. Karnataka's success is further driven by strong industry-government collaboration, a bold entrepreneurial spirit, and cutting-edge R&D hubs of global giants. As we approach our global investors meet, I eagerly look forward to recognizing and rewarding the startups shortlisted through Venturize, our international startup challenge. Venturize is set to boost startup ecosystem and drive innovation and entrepreneurship across the country. Join us as we accelerate growth and shape the future through Invest Karnataka 25.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that answers all your stock-related queries in this extreme volatile environment. If you're also confused about the stocks that are in your portfolio, those that are appearing as opportunities, but is it the right time? Well, send in all your questions. The WhatsApp number is flashing on your screens. Don't forget to mention your name, your location and your contact details when you send us your questions. In case you're watching our show live on our YouTube platform, then there on the comment section you could also mention some of your questions and I can be happy to take them up with our top guests today. Let me introduce to you our guest this afternoon. We have Mr. Rahul Ghosh, the CEO of Hedge.in, joining in to answer your queries. Warm welcome. Rahul, good to have you with us. First up, do tell us, how are you looking at the extreme weak environment in the markets right now? We had a sharp another 600-700 point cut in the intraday trade today on the Sensex, about 200-250 points cut on the Nifty again, but we are back above the 23,000 mark and we are probably looking at some green on the screen also that could be seen. But how are you, looking at this choppiness in the markets?
Good afternoon and thank you for having me. So, firstly, the view stays very simple that this downward move is going to be short lived. Let me put that out on the outside. Two reasons why we mention this. Number one, you see the DIIs constantly accumulating in this fall. Number two, if you notice the March open interest data, you will see that the 23,000 puts constantly are being written. Now, what this means is that even though markets are falling and going below 23,000, the put writers are not nerved by this situation and continue to write puts in expectation of a bounce. So the first point is that the trajectory below 23,000 will be very short-lived and we expect 22,500 to hold cycloside and markets continuing its upward journey. Having said that, for the year 2025, if I give a little more broader horizon, the top for Nifty we expect is 27,200. We don't expect Nifty to go more than 27,200 for this year. And similarly, on the downside, it is 2,100. That is 21,000, I beg your pardon. That is the broader range of the year. We expect 2025 to be a sideways year with no sharp movements on either side.
Okay, Rahul, we already have a lot of questions that are pouring in, so we'll keep coming back to the overall strategies in the market, but we'll also take the questions from our viewers. Our first question is from Tepal Bhatia. He's a YouTube viewer and he wants to know a long-term view on two stocks, CG Power and the second one is Just Engineering. I'm guessing this is a fresh investment opportunity that he's seeking on these. Would you advise that in the current market for CG Power and for Just Engineering?
The answer, unfortunately, from investment point of view, will be no for CG Power. And with respect to Just Engineering, it would be a yes. So first, let's talk about CG Power. CG Power is constantly making lower highs and lower lows. The monthly zone, which I believe the gentleman who is asking this question is looking at to invest, is already been tested, and that support level might take the market sideways. So that's why I'm not attributing a buy on CG Power. On the contrary, this entire fall has led to a very tepid fall in this stock. And on the monthly time frame, we see some bullishness which is coming The stock has bounced from its lows at 510, looking to form a hammer. So I would suggest him to go with Jush. Even at current price, a long investment is warranted.
Okay, I hope Mr. Bhatia this has answered your question. Next we will take another question, and this one is from Avnish Chaudhary. He says, Hi Sakshi ji, I want to know on IRIDA. Hello Avnish ji, कैसे हैं आप? ये पूछ रहे हैं इरिडा में क्या करें, आज 165 तक ये स्टॉक गिर गया है और अब ये बताइए अब थोड़ा सा रिकवरी भी आ रही है तो इसमें निकल जाएं या फिर एवरेज करें, हायर लेवल्स की बाइंग है यहाँ पर, एग्जैक्ट लेवल्स तो इन्होंने नहीं मेंशन किए हैं लेकिन डेफिनेटली इन्होंने खरीदा ऊपरी लेवल्स पर होगा। 165 तक गिरा था, उसके बाद थोड़ी रिकवरी आई है, तो ऐसे में जानना चाह रहे हैं इनकी स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होनी चाहिए। इरिडा जब से लिस्ट हुआ था काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिटेल निवेशकों ने स्टॉक को पसंद किया था क्योंकि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी स्पेस का एक स्टॉक है और काफ़ी प्रॉमिसिंग यहाँ पर फ्यूचरिस्टिक अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ नज़र आ रही थी। इस स्टॉक ने बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस भी दी, निवेशकों को काफ़ी पैसा बना के भी दिया, लेकिन एक बार जब से पिछले 4-5 महीनों से कंसोलिडेशन चालू है, यहाँ पर भी स्टॉक ने अपने वापस से हायर लेवल्स को नहीं टेस्ट किया है। यहाँ पर क्या राय बनेगी राहुल जी इनके लिए?
So normally I'll tell people have a tendency, if they have made money on a stock once and that stock comes 20-30% off the highs, the natural tendency is to go and buy that stock because they are getting it much cheaper than from where they exited. The problem with that approach is the time value of money goes away. And same is the case with IRIDA. The stock can stay sideways for quite a good amount of time. From investment perspective, a long is not warranted at this market price. Okay. On the contrary, I'll give the gentleman a value. Beyond 235 is the only case he should look at for going long on the counter. Till then, he should just stay on the sidelines.
Okay, I hope Avnish ji this has clearly given you a strategy on IRIDA and how you should be looking at this stock right now. We'll take another one. This is from our WhatsApp number that we've got this question. Satyan Trichur from Kerala writes in. Satyan says, I invested in Style Bazaar IPO and I invested because the promoter was the Jhunjhunwala family, and now my query is because I'm not making any returns, should I switch from Style Bazaar to ABFRL or Aditya Birla Fashion Retail or any other investment that you could suggest for 1 year view? Okay, Satyan, so this has raised a very important question for all of our viewers also watching in, to find out whether an IPO is good because a particular ace investor has their investment in it. Now, if you would actually go back to the IPO note, Satyan, you would get to know that the Jhunjhunwala family literally had to pay no money. Their purchase quantity was very low or minuscule, and that is why their own return post the IPO was also not getting calculated because they had bought it so in an early stage, Style Bazaar, when it would have come, and that's why they made money out of it as well. But looking at just because an ace investor's name is attached to a company, whether you should be looking at it or not. Rahul, would you be able to address that question?
No, you're absolutely right. The approach that just because an ace investor holds is unfortunately not the right one. From the simple perspective that they might have a longing holding period and can have a longer risk appetite. So a longer risk appetite lets them take larger losses, which an individual might not be able to do. My suggestion over here is already majority of the pain has been underwent. So at this point in time, to exit when it's right at the bottom might not be the best solution. However, if he's looking to spread out his money, I would suggest a Tata Motors, a completely different sector, but in a good monthly level, corrected a bit from its highs. From a 1 to 1.5 year perspective, Tata Motors is looking good on the charts.
Okay, I hope this has also given you suggestion of how should you be really looking at alternate stocks. Let's take the next one. This is again from Govind Bhatia. He's from Dubai and he's watching our show. Hi Mr. Bhatia, good to see that you're watching the show from Dubai. His question is on Tata Power. He says, I have 250 shares at the rate of 258. And I want to add more. Can I add more at the current levels is what his question is. 349 is the current level. So he's sitting on profits and he wants to know whether it can be averaged at these higher levels as well, Rahul.
The answer would be no in this case, for the simple reason that it is right bang in between. There is no
Okay.
level or no inference that I can derive from the chart that says a turnaround is going to happen right now. And if there is nothing on the technical front that warrants a turnaround, it's like shooting in the dark. So I wouldn't suggest him to invest more and let him hold on to his initial position. On the long run, we are bullish on power, be it Tata Power or R Power for that matter. So
Okay.
continue to hold on, not to add any fresh longs right now.
Okay, fair point. Let's look at some other questions that are coming in on our YouTube. We have Harpreet Kaur writing in, and Harpreet wants to know on Varun Beverages and on Tata Technologies, both from different sectors. For the next 5 to 8 odd years, should one be really looking at to buy this one? Now, Varun Beverages has clearly been an outperforming story. It has created wealth for investors in the recent past, and in the for those who've been holding on to the stock from a little while as well. Even in 2024, it went on to create newer highs, went on to give a lot of wealth to our returns to our investors too. But at the same time, Tata Technologies has been a disappointing story. Right from the time the stock got listed, the IPO investors have only been waiting for some promising returns. They would have bet big on Tata Technologies, looking at it that it is from the Tata stable, coming after 3 decades. This should have an opportunity for investors. How would you look at these two stocks for the long term, 5 to 8 years kind of perspective? Where do you think more value can be had?
So firstly, we'll start with Varun Beverages. The stock was way overbought, both technically and fundamentally. So it definitely warrants a correction, but it is a good stock to hold on to. So bottom line being that the gentleman can hold on to Varun Beverages. The next stock, I believe, was Tata Tele. If you could just let me know on the second stock name.
So
Tata
the second,
Technologies, was it?
yes, Tata Technologies, after the IPO, it's actually not given any returns to investors, and therefore he wants to know whether it would be the right time to look at a fresh Tata Technologies at the current levels for the next 5 to 8 years.
No, I would suggest a no over here on Tata Technologies. Now, if you're looking to get into a stock which is in the IT sector, I would look at Dixon Technologies. So rather shift your focus from Tata Technologies to Dixon Technologies. Better looking chart, stronger counter, uh, coming close to a very good buy level. I would suggest to move from this counter to Dixon.
Okay, I hope this has also answered your question, Harpreet, on how should you be really looking at opportunities of fresh for the long term, 5 to 8 years perspective, and where do our guests feel more opportunities can be seen. Next one is again on the Tata Group stock. Samvit Nageshwar says, good afternoon to everyone. I want to know, is it advisable to invest in Tata Chemicals for the long term perspective? What would you suggest on Tata Chemicals now, Rahul?
Uh, Tata Chemicals, the chart has been making a downward trending channel right from October of last year. And that downward trending channel, if you notice on the daily chart, is constantly breaking its lows. So, no suggestion to go long absolutely whatsoever. There is, in fact, a support only around 790, 800 odd levels, which is still 10% away from current market price. Stay away from the counter, no evidence to suggest a turnaround. It's always important to get into stocks on the long side which are momentum based. Contra bets only work best for retail on the retail side if you're in a bull market. Otherwise, you're just cherry picking and it's anybody's guess when it can turn around.
Right. Let us look at some other stock queries that are coming in. Okay, we have Satya writing in, says, good afternoon Sakshi, good afternoon to you Satya. He wants to know, I have a few PSU banks in my portfolio. So he has stocks like SBI, Bank of Baroda, no, exact. In fact, except for SBI and Bank of Baroda, he says I have PNB, IDBI, Canara Bank, Union Bank, Bank of Maharashtra. So the smaller ticket ones is the second rung stocks that he has invested in the PSU banking story, not the large ones like the SBI or the Bank of Baroda. Beyond that, he has gone into some of them. Now his query is that even SBI and Bank of Baroda, they look to be at an attractive level. So should I switch from my existing positions in the lower rung ones to SBI or Bank of Baroda? That's an interesting one. How would you look at the first rung PSU banks versus the second rung ones, Rahul?
So I would suggest he's endured the pain in the down move of the PSU banks, not to shift when it's darkest. Bank of Maharashtra is looking good on the charts. It's coming to an interesting level. So hold on to that. SBI definitely is a good buy. So maybe a PNB he can move out of and look to invest a little bit in SBI. But Bank of Maharashtra, definitely hold on. With respect to IDBI, also I think most of the pain is behind us. It is currently at a monthly level and looking to bounce from a monthly level. You will see the momentum on IDBI above 83. It's currently at 75. So above 83, you will see some solid momentum in the counter. My suggestion is hold on to the smaller names, maybe exit a PNB and switch it to an SBI so that there is a balance of small banks and large banks.
Okay, got that. Let's take the other one. Okay, Satyanarayan Rao Kulkarni says, good afternoon. Is it the right time to enter HAL or Hindustan Aeronautics at the current levels? It's interesting to have this question at this point. The stock has really corrected from its peak. It's now at around what, 3,500 odd levels, 3,600 odd levels as well. 1.5% lower even today. This is despite the news coming in that the company is currently looking to double its order book in the going forward years as well. But despite that, there isn't a lot of order flow happening. There is positive news on the defense space, but at the same time, the stocks are just not going to be, getting back to their highs that we actually saw in the first part of 2024. How are you looking at HAL right now? Do you think further downside can still be seen, or is it the right time to look at HAL?
Yes, to answer your question simply, it is the right time to enter HL. However, I have a suggestion over here that only enter 25% of the 100% quantity. So if you're looking to buy 10 shares, only enter about 2 or 3 shares right now. The second tranche should come about when the prices cross 3,900. And if the caller is or the person who gave the question is listening, please pen down above 3,900 is when you will take the second tranche, and the rest 50% quantity above 4,200. And that is the fashion in which I want him to buy this counter, only 25% right now at the current level.
Okay, fair point. Let's look at some of the other queries then. We have Vinita Gupta writing in, and Vinita Gupta wants to know on supports and resistance levels, if you could please suggest on Genus Power. I bought it at 380. What would you suggest? Genus Power at 380 was bought. What are the support and the resistance levels for this stock right now?
I'm sorry, what is the counter? Genus Power, is it?
Genus Power, that's right. Genus Power, GENUS. Yeah.
Right. So actually having a look at this chart for the first time, completely sold off on the larger time frames, formed a divergence on multiple momentum indicators. So no respite on the upside currently. Would not suggest a buy right now. Next buy level is at around 260, which is about 10% away from current market price. Right now, just step away from the counter.
Okay, we also have a caller with us live. So let's straight away go across to Rajan, who's joining in from Bengaluru. Hi Rajan, how are you?
Hey, Sakshi, I'm doing good.
Okay, tell me, what's your question for the day?
Yeah, I have 50 CDSR. I'm holding at 1,410. I
Okay.
wanted to know, corrected a lot. I wanted to know if this is the right time to average or should I wait for some more correction?
Okay, fair point. We will get Rahul to address your query. CDSL is the stock that he is asking on, Rahul. And again, a wealth creating story, a story that was successful in 2024. We did see the entire capital markets theme emerging and being led by stocks like BSE, CDSL particularly. But, bought at around 1,410 odd levels. It's come off for sure. Do you think it's the right time to average? What is your long-term fundamental view on this?
So two-part answer I'll give the gentleman over
Sure.
here. Number one, no, it is not the right time to average. So that is the plain vanilla answer. Second, having said that, yes, this is still a good long-term story stock. However, looking at my previous answer where I spoke about the time value of money, the point where I would suggest the gentleman to average is beyond 1500. It's at 1230. When prices cross 1500 on the upside, he should take his next level of averaging, which is where he's averaging on the upside instead of averaging on the downside. So right now, don't average above 1500. Please look to average depending on what existing quantity he has.
Okay. Yes, right. So I hope some clarity at least has been given to you. We'll take Aman S. Aneja's view now. He says, hi Sakshi, I need a view on NetWeb Technologies. I have 20 shares at 1810 odd levels. Okay, Aman, a little more clear view is what we can expect on this one, since you've shared both the information. 20 shares at 1810 on this one. One stock that got an impact of DeepSeek also. It did recover a bit, but again still it's been reeling under the pressure of the overall market downturn. 1541 right now for NetWeb Technologies. How would you look at this story?
No, you're absolutely right. It did recover, but that recovery got sold into, which
Yeah.
which essentially means that the stock does not have any strength on the upside. My suggestion over here would be that it was trading in a lovely upward trending channel. Very sharp breakdown has happened with high volumes. This is on the monthly chart. So there is no evidence to suggest a turnaround right now, which is why we step away from this counter. Also wanted to add on the previous counter CDSL, there is a large head and shoulder, which is a conventional pattern, not very strong when used in isolation, of course, which is forming on the monthly chart, which is also one of the reasons why I told that gentleman not to average at current point in time. Same for NetWeb, not to enter right now, neither should he average right now. We don't know how lower the stock can go.
Okay, fair point. Next we have Gul writing in from Kerala. Gul says, I want to buy Bharti Airtel and I also want to buy Nesco, NESCO, for the long term for around 1 to 2 years. Please suggest at what price can I make a fresh entry and if the risk reward is also favorable at this point in time. Bharti Airtel in fact has been bucking up the trend in an otherwise weak market. 1698 for this one. And the other one is Nesco. Between these two for 1 to 2 years, where do you think promising returns can be seen?
So both counters, I think, can give us promising returns in 1 to 2 years, both Nesco as well as Bharti Airtel. Bharti Airtel though has been a dream-like chart. Every time it has come to a support, it is bounced. And lot of that texture you can see on Nesco also. So every time it comes down to 930, where there is a support level and a demand level, you see constant buying happening. There is a strong support at 870 as well. So I would warrant, yes, in a long-term view, this stock can be held. 870 would be the level to watch out on the downside.
Okay, got that. We also have a lot of appreciation coming for you on our YouTube as well, Rahul. So viewers really are liking the way you are addressing and solving their questions. So thank you from all of them to you as well. Satya has particularly written in that I really am loving the way Rahul sir is addressing our questions. Kudos to him. Thanks Satya for mentioning. Let's take some other questions. Namita Arora says, hi Sakshi, how are you doing? I'm completely speechless looking at the markets. There is nothing to ask. I just thought that I will just come here and chat because there is so much pain in the markets. Well, Namita, I know that you are a regular viewer of daily calls and this is a tough market. As I have said even earlier to you that markets also have various cycles. We've had stupendous run up in the market. 4 years in a row, higher highs is what we have seen. Markets have been climbing and now is the time when there is some kind of giving back to the markets as well and the cycle that we are in. But this too shall pass is something that you should also remember and some of the legendary investors have actually said that the only direction that the markets finally end up in is up, because you will have to have that patience and see through the long term that the markets actually will come back from this downturn as well. But I'll get Rahul to also help all our viewers, feeling, kind of disgruntled or disappointed with the way the markets are going right now. Rahul, what would you say to all those investors who've been celebrating the upward run but now are feeling stuck?
Firstly, sad to hear that a regular caller is feeling a little off on the falling markets. But it's very important to understand here from March 2023, almost 2 years, the market has had no meaningful correction. In 2 years, from 16,800 to 26,200, there has been literally a one sided move. So, a correction is very healthy at this juncture. Also, like I said in the beginning part of the show, which should give you some respite, that we don't expect this correction to be far lived. We expect it to be short lived. And we are expecting a bounce somewhere around 22,500, which is not very far away from here, if not immediately itself. So, keeping that in mind, we expect 2025 to be at a level higher than where we are right now. So, that is good news for your investments. And going forward, 2026, that is calendar year 2026, we expect a very bullish market to come about. In fact, we expect Nifty to cross 33,000, if I can be bold enough to say that, in 2026 calendar year, which is a good 10,000 points in Nifty from here.
Fair point. I hope, Namita, you've got an answer to your question, as well as all the viewers who are still looking at the markets and feeling disappointed. Let's take some other questions now. We have this one question who's from a new user who's come in first time on daily calls. Says, I am Azam and I'm from Karnataka. Hi Azam, good to know that you're joining in for the first time on daily calls with your question. He wants to know, should I add a fresh RVNL and IRFC? Well Azam, I hope if you do have any existing positions, you please mention, but right now I'm going to be taking this as a fresh investment opportunity and whether it makes sense to invest. Railway theme, probably the one that has been far forgotten. Post the last budget that was presented in July, of course, things started to go downhill. And of course, after this new budget also, there were hardly any mentions about railways again. So how would you really look at the rail story? This also has been a space where retail investors have really exposed themselves, probably more than they should have. A lot of concentration in their portfolio has gone into defense, railways, because all of those moving stories started to buzz in the last year. How would you look at this one? Rahul?
So, firstly,
Yeah.
the whole rally in stocks or railway stocks. Yeah, can you hear me?
Can.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now we can.
All right. So, what I was saying was the whole rally in railway stocks, very common thing pre budget. So if you look at 8 out of 10 times before budget, you will see railway stocks rallying in expectation of something coming about in the budget. And same with RVNL. You look at January month, you had a move from 358 all the way to 500, expecting some kind of movement, some kind of reform, some kind of direction, which is helpful to the railway sector. But alas, nothing came about. On the monthly time frame, there is a very big engulfing red candle formed on RVNL. So definitely is only around 305, 310 odd levels. So till then, just stay away from the counter. Second counter, which is I beg your pardon, IRFC. Again, similar trajectory. Budget, you saw a rally. The rally got sold into on the monthly time frame, looking weak. I would suggest, if given a choice between the two, look to enter RVNL and look to enter around the 310 odd levels.
Okay, well, Rahul, thank you so much. Appreciate your time with us on daily calls, and thank you for helping all our viewers out with their queries, addressing them patiently, and also giving them a view as to what is the right strategy for them to adopt. Let's hope things improve for the better soon in the markets, and we'd love to have you again soon on daily calls to answer the rest of the questions. What we'll do, viewers, is we'll take a very quick break right here, but when we return, not only will your questions be taken up with a new guest who will be joining in, but we will also help you understand about this new IPO opportunity that has begun today. Hexaware Technologies IPO, the largest IT IPO that's also overtaken TCS by way of the size of this IPO. All of those details coming up soon after this break. Stay tuned.
I am proud to highlight Karnataka's crucial role in driving innovation in the aerospace and defense sector. Karnataka contributes to 65% of India's aerospace related exports and caters to 70% supplier base for India's aerospace and defense industry. Supported by robust infrastructure, skilled talent, and global partnerships, Karnataka is shaping the future of India's aerospace aspirations. Invest Karnataka 2025 will further solidify our state's position as a preferred investor destination for aerospace and defense companies.
Welcome back. You're watching Daily Calls on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and as promised, right after this break, we're going to be telling you about this new IPO that's opened, Hexaware Technologies. Pawan Nahar, my colleague, has all those details that you should know before looking at this as an opportunity, and also he will help us understand what are the top brokerages saying about this IPO. Is this an opportunity or should you miss this one? Pawan, take it away.
Good morning, Sakshi. Hexaware Technologies, which is looking to restart its journey at stock markets after a delisting of roughly around 4.5 years. It got delisted in September 2020, and it has launched its IPO again. So the important dates for this issue is like February 12 to 14 February, when the IPO will be open for bidding, and the shares will be listed next week on February 19. Price band for this issue is 674 rupees to 708 rupees per share, with a lot size of 21 equity shares. It is entirely an offer for sale by the promoters of the company, that is CA Magnum Holdings, which is offloading slightly more than 12 crore and 35 lakh equity shares. And at the upper end of the price band, the IPO size is it is 8,750 crores, which is roughly around $1 billion. Retail investors will have a reservation of 35% in this IPO. What are the key positives that brokerage firms have pointed out in their reports? So the management of the company is very experienced, and they have a very strong cash flow, strong relationship with existing customers, and impressive financial growth of the company. And the reasonable valuations that they have left over the peers are the key attractions for this IPO. What are the concerns or the risks for this issue? One thing that is, it is an entirely offer for sale because the company needs no cash. It's a cash-rich company, and the entire proceeds will go to the promoter of the company. The Hexaware is largely dependent on US and European clients, and the currency fluctuations or the ongoing concerns of trade tariffs may dent the perspective of the company. So these are largely the issues that the company may face over the period. Brokerage firms, however, see this as a bet for a long term. One should not expect listing gains, they say, and it's a long term play. Renowned brokerage firms like Nirmal Bang, Geojit, Arihant Capital Markets, Anand Rathi, ICICI Direct, Stocksbox, Ventura, SBI Securities, SMC Global, Master Capital, everyone has suggested to subscribe this issue for a long-term basis only, not for the listing gains. That's all from my side, Sakshi.
Right, Pawan, thank you so much for getting us all that update. Well, viewers, we will chunk this out, and in case you still have missed out some details, you can go back to our YouTube channel to find this chunk and to note down all the details that you need to know about this IPO, and then do also consult your own financial advisor before putting in your money in this new IPO opportunity that has come in. Thanks a lot, Pawan, for sharing all those details. And now, viewers, we'll welcome another guest who will be taking up all your queries. Jatin Gedia, Technical Research Analyst at Mirae Asset Share Khan, is with us on the show. Jatin, hi. Good afternoon. We have a lot of questions, so we'll straight away dive in. This question is coming in from Mahesh. He says, is it a good time to take a fresh entry in Hero Moto Corp? How would you see the charts of Hero Moto within two-wheeler space, and what would you advise?
Yeah, see, in the case of Hero Corp, the stock has corrected around 40% from the highs, and it has reached a crucial support of 4,000, where in terms of price pattern, it is in the process of forming a double bottom pattern. We don't still have a confirmation, but looking at the charts, we believe that yes, I think the time has come for a trend reversal, and 4,000 around 4,000 levels are good levels for fresh entry. Keep a certain amount for averaging in the case of Hero Motocorp. But yes, for starters, yes, he can consider starting investing in Hero Motocorp.
Okay, fair point. Let's take the next one. This question is from Sindhu Ramdas. Sindhu Ramdas says, can I take a fresh entry in Keynes Technologies at the current level if I have a long-term view? Keynes Tech has actually been a great wealth creator, one of the top stories in the EMS space as well. But of late, we are actually seeing a lot of downturn come in. There is this question about whether the valuations justify the fundamentals, the earnings of the company as well. At 4170, tell us, what do you see on Keynes Tech?
See, in the case of Keynes Tech, I believe that the trend is still negative. I would suggest to wait at this point of time, because as of now we don't have a trend reversal in place, and also the support levels are a little far away from current market price. So I would suggest not to venture into Keynes Technology as of now. I'll wait for levels of 4,400 to get surpassed, and thereafter we can have a fresh look at it. At this point of time, my suggestion would be to.
Okay, fair point. Let's take the next one. This one is from Mohit from Ludhiana. He's written it on a WhatsApp. He says, I have got 300 shares of delivery at the rate of 280 rupees and my time horizon is 3 years. Please guide. Okay. Recently listed stocks, so not too much of a historical chart available for you to study here, Jatin. But the stock has actually really not performed. Quarter after quarter, there has been disappointment on the earnings as well, and the stock price has also not really recovered. We've also seen some of the peers in the new age tech space that have done better than delivery. How would you really look at this one at 274?
See, in the case of delivery, the previous swing low was around 290 odd levels, and the stock is trading below that. So clearly, there is weakness in the stock, and until and unless the stock, sustains about 290, 295, we see no real signs of trend reversal. So even from a long-term perspective, I suggest to wait at this point of time. There is no suggestion to go long. The structure is very weak.
Okay, fair point. Let's take the next one. We have some questions coming in on our YouTube as well. Roshan Pradhan says, between Suzlon and between RVNL, one from the renewable energy space and one from the railway space, which mid-cap stock would you suggest for a fresh entry? Suzlon at 51 or RVNL at the current prices? Remember, both of these stocks have actually given a lot of returns to investors in the last year, 2024, but that also got limited to the first 6 to 8 months odd. After that, in the consolidation, these stocks have also come under pressure. Any suggestion?
Both these stocks are from their individual sectors, and if I have to consider between Suzlon and RVNL, then I would definitely go for Suzlon because the structure is positive in the case of Suzlon, and as of now, RVNL can slip a little more on the downside. So, from a risk reward perspective, I believe that Suzlon is better placed for an entry at current levels. We see only a downside of around 48 rupees. So, 48 rupees can be kept as a stop loss for an entry. And on the upside, the immediate targets that we are expecting is 56 and 60. So, out of the two, Suzlon is the preferred bet.
Okay, fair point. Let's get some other questions also going. We have this question coming in from Vijay Singh from Gujarat. He says, hi, I have 100 shares of Geo Finance at the average price of 240 and I want to know what is the price at which I should continue to add more. Okay, Geo Finance bought at 240, at 228, do you think it's the right time to average or should one wait for lower levels, Jatin?
I think it's only down around 12 rupees from his purchase price, so no real point wherein he has to average. I think the 240 level was a good entry point. Yes, today it has broken below that, but on the daily charts we can see a positive divergence developing. Having said that, I believe that this divergence has a bullish impact, but price has to confirm. So at this point of time, I would suggest to hold on. No need for averaging at this point of time. Only and only if the stock slips below 215 odd levels, then I think he should consider that is around 10% from his purchase price. So if the stock falls to 215, then he should consider. But at this point of time, he should continue to hold whatever positions he's having.
Okay, fair point. Just 5 minutes before we wind up this edition, but Jatin, I want to understand from you, after the markets have been showing us consistent sell-offs, have you been looking any opportunity to also buy in any stocks? If you could also suggest to all our viewers who still are willing to deploy fresh funds and take the benefit of lower prices, any key stocks where you believe the reversal and the returns could be stronger once the tide turns?
Yeah, see, that's a very good question because at this point of time, we have some of these stocks. To name a few, we like Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, Bharti Airtel. So these are some of the stocks that we are recommending to our clients. The reason being, technically, the stocks have fallen very little in this last phase of the fall that we are seeing. And in fact, some of the structures are still positive. So Bajaj Finance, Finserv, and Bharti Airtel are looking positive. So we can consider these and from the frontline space. So we are not recommending anything from the mid and small cap space as of now, but we are sticking to the large cap space wherein the risk reward is favorable and also the short to medium term trend is positive. So we are looking at couple of parameters before suggesting it to our clients. So the three stocks that can be considered from a short term perspective.
Okay, I missed one question one of our viewers has sent. This is from Satya CK. He says Shivalik Rasayan. I really want to know what is your view on this one. It has come out with outstanding results. So a fresh entry. Can I look at the current levels? You're right, Satya. 72% surge in the December quarterly profits for the company, and the stock in this otherwise very weak environment is also up by 4.5% odd, and therefore you have seen the impact on the positive side for the results of this company. Shivalik Rasayan. Any suggestion on this one, Jatin?
Yeah, so the structure is still positive. On the downside, it has tested its weekly averages. So I believe that if one wants to enter, then 675 should be kept as a stop loss. And on the upside, the immediate resistance that we are seeing, or the immediate target that one can expect, is 770 to 785. So these are the levels that we should keep in mind. And a point of caution that these stocks are a little illiquid, so you can plan your position accordingly.
Okay, I hope this has answered your question. We have a caller now with us. Kalpesh Patel is with us on the phone line from Mumbai. Kalpesh ji, namaskar, कैसे हैं?
नमस्कार मैम, मैं एकदम बढ़िया हूँ मैम। मेरे को एक्चुअली पूछा ये शेयर बाजार अभी जिस तरह से घायल हो रहा है, तो इसको कोई दवा काम नहीं आ रही है, पर ये यूबीएल और मैकडोवल काफी टाइम आउट परफॉर्म कर रहा है, तो क्या इसको दवा के नहीं दारू की जरूरत है? मेरी पोजीशन है।
बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है कल्पेश जी आपका, जी बताइए।
हाँ, मैंने रिलायंस शॉर्ट सेल किया हुआ है @1240। क्या ये 1140 कब तक आ सकता है?
ठीक है, 1200 के आसपास तो आ ही गया है। पहला सवाल इनका रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज पर लेते हैं, जहां पर इन्होंने शॉर्ट सेल किया हुआ है। 1140 आ सकता है या नहीं, ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं। और दूसरा सवाल इनका लिकर स्पेस के स्टॉक्स पर है, यूबीएल और यूएसएल, जो कि आज ऊपर है वीक बाजार में। तो इनको क्या लगता है कि लिकर स्टॉक्स पर अभी फोकस करना चाहिए क्या?
देखिए, ओवरऑल अगर जो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रिलायंस की बात करो, तो रिलायंस में उन्होंने जो शॉर्ट सेल किया है उसमें आज फ्रेश ब्रेकडाउन मिला था 1200 रुपए के नीचे, लेकिन वहां पे सस्टेन नहीं कर पाया। अगर जो उनका सेल पोजीशन है, तो मैं उनको एक स्टॉप लॉस रखने का सजेशन दूंगा 1248, ज्यादा से ज्यादा 1255। यहाँ पे ये जो रेंज मैंने बताया 1248 1255, यहाँ पे आर्ली मूविंग एवरेजेस है। तो अगर जो ये एवरेजेस को के ऊपर सस्टेन करता है, तो देन अपसाइड और हो सकती है। लेकिन एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम जो पोजीशन उन्होंने बनाई है वो होल्ड करके रखे, विद स्टॉप लॉस जो मैंने सजेशन दिया है वो। और अगर जो मैं जो बेवरेजेस स्टॉक्स की उन्होंने उनका जो क्वेरी है, तो उनमें हमें लगता है कि जो यूबीएल का स्टॉक है उसमें एक फ्रेश लॉन्ग पोजीशन बनाया जा सकता है, लेकिन उसमें एक स्टॉप लॉस का सजेशन रहेगा जो 2000 के आसपास रखने की सजेशन रहेगी, और 2150 2170 तक का अपसाइड पॉसिबल है। ये स्टॉक्स ज्यादा गिरे हैं ऐसा नहीं है, ऊपर से अराउंड 2300 से लेके 2000 तक का करेक्शन आया है, लेकिन वो करेक्शन अभी उनके एवरेजेस पे आके रुका है, तो सपोर्ट पे आया है, तो दे कैन कंसीडर टू बाय। तो यूबीएल can be considered with the given levels.
Okay, fair point. Let's look at some other questions. This is Ankur Modi says, hi Sakshi, hope you're doing well. Yes, I am, Ankur. I hope the same for you too. He says, Nifty 2 दिन में reverse होता हुआ में नजर आया है 22,800 के level से yesterday and today also. So, is this a bottom of the Nifty or can there be more correction from those levels? Okay, we'll ask Jatin to answer that question on the index now for you. 22,800 is the new bottom, or this could also be breached in the current volatile turn?
My wish would be that it is a bottom, but we don't have the price confirmation as of now. 22,786 was the previous low, and today's low is around 22,798. So some kind of a double bottom around the 22,800 mark, but it will be premature for me to consider this as a bottom, because I think we need to look at some of the other parameters as well before we can come to a conclusion that the short-term bottom is. So yes, there are signs, the sharp reversal, intraday reversal that we have seen from the levels of around 22,780 suggests that the near-term bottom is in place, but we don't have a confirmation as of now.
Okay, fair point. Well, Jatin, thank you so much for being with us today to help out all our viewers with their questions that are coming in. And hopefully, we will see the markets turn for the better. We just came 1 inch closer to turning green. But again, we are now 12 points lower, 23,060. Let's hope that happens in the next 2.5 hours of trade, because 5 days of losses is what we've already seen. Today will mark the 6th day if we continue to end with losses. I hope that turns for the better, but let's see whether that takes place over the next 2.5 hours or so. Stay tuned with us on Business Today. We will continue to get you fascinating insights from the world of stock markets and all the coverage that you need to hear when it comes to extreme volatility that we are seeing in the market. Stay tuned.
Karnataka is the 4th largest automobile producing state in India, contributing 8.5% to the nation's vehicle production. The state also has the highest number of EV charging stations, boasting an impressive 5,765 public stations. We were the first to introduce an EV policy in 2017 and will soon unveil a clean mobility policy at our upcoming Global Investors Meet. Backed by our progressive policies, world-class infrastructure and a skilled workforce, Karnataka is paving the way for growth in both traditional and EV sectors. Join us at Invest Karnataka 2025 and be a driving force in the future of automotive and EV innovation.
All roads leading to Prayagraj are jammed, and literally an unprecedentedly large number of vehicles driving towards the Sangam city for the Mahakumbh.